Would you like a?
Ooh,
Would you like a jelly baby?
thank you. I should go for I meant to pick up a green one. Never mind.
I have a red one, which I think might be oranges. I don't know. Oh no, this is the berry one. Oh, that's why it's That's why there's no green one.
Oh.
I
You don't get green ones in the berry ones.
don't know whether red. I don't know whether red is Tom Baker's favourite or if it's orange. I can't really remember now.
But would you have enjoyed berry flavoured ones? Welcome to Behind the Sofa, which is a confectionery vidcast.
Yeah.
Today we'll be talking about jelly babies.
Next week we'll be talking about Parma violets.
We might well be.
And last week we talked about those little drumsticks.
Yeah, we did. Anyway, on to the sensible stuff. I'm Deacle.
And I'm Lewis Moon.
And what's our real aim in life?
It's to watch every episode of Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. We have indeed. So, talking with a mouthful here. Basically, the concept of Behind the Sofa is anyone that's listened to our podcast before will know that we have something on there called the Randomizer, which randomly selects an episode throughout the history of Doctor Who, and we then watch it, and then we talk about it, and then eventually we get around to making a video about it.
Yes.
In between that, as Series 9 was on, back in, when did that, was it October time last year? When did it start?
Started in September.
So-
September 19th.
Through till December the
5th. Your
5th, my birthday
birthday.
it was. So whilst that was on, we were watching obviously the Series 9 things once a week, and therefore we're still catching up a little bit on our Behind the Sofa videos.
We've on Series 9 we're ending our Series 9 videos.
Mhm.
We've still got our Husbands of River Song Christmas video to do.
That's true, we have, haven't we? Yeah.
We've done a podcast reviewing all of these episodes, but we've
Yep.
not done a vidcast on any.
We haven't.
Of,
I'm just going to straighten this camera up because there we are. That's better.
And it's been a while since we've done a Behind the Sofa.
It is quite a while actually. Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember what the last one was that we did. The last
Invasion
sensible
of
one.
Time.
Last Invasion of Time, so it was. So as you'll get an idea from that, the randomizer, it doesn't care whether it picks up a new Who or it picks up a classic Who. It doesn't care whether it picks up a good episode or a rubbish episode.
Like Fear Her.
It randomly comes up with them, and we have to talk about it, and that's what we're here for today.
At the moment, we're actually watching Ambassadors of Death, and it will be 1 or 2 years before you get a review on it.
Probably will. It takes us a while to get around to doing these things. So, on that note, what episodes are we reviewing today? We're doing a bit of an odd one, aren't we? We're going to crack 3 at the same time.
Yeah, because they're kind of a trilogy of episodes.
Mhm.
They all follow on from each other because they all say to be continued.
Yeah.
But they're 3 separate episodes at the same time.
So, what are they?
Face the Raven, Heaven Sent, and Hell Bent. And we're going to start with Face the Raven.
Okay. So you normally give a little bit of a brief summary of the
Yes.
episode. So, what was it about?
So the Doctor and Clara, with their old friend Rigsy, find themselves in a magical alien world hidden on a street in the heart of London. Sheltered within are some of the most fearsome creatures of the universe, and Ashildr. With a death sentence hanging over their heads, not all of the intruders will get out alive.
Get out alive. So it was a little bit of a had a bit of a shocker on this one, didn't it? Really,
It did.
I mean, I guess it didn't, insofar as there was quite a lot of predictions in the press that something was going to happen and it was going to involve a certain Clara Oswald. So,
And it was a bit disappointing, kind of. We'll explain that as we get
Kind of.
to Hell Bent later on.
yeah, eventually it was disappointing, but at the time it wasn't.
It wasn't when it was on, but
Yeah.
it got disappointing, and we'll explain that when we get to.
Okay. Well, should we crack on a little bit? What do you want? Do you want to give us your general thoughts on it, or do you want to crack straight on with the questions?
We can crack on with the question. We can do the story roundup first if you want.
Okay.
So what season was this from?
This was, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm always rubbish with my numbers. It was season 9.
Yes, aka series 35.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. Which Doctor?
It was number 12, Peter Capaldi.
And who was the companion?
It was Clara.
Okay. And then what sort of episode was it?
It was a one-parter.
So a one-parter. Okay. I tell you what, I know we sort of flick around a little bit here and there as to how we run these sort of sessions. But what I would say about Face of the Raven is it looked fantastic, didn't it?
It did.
The whole thing with the trap streets.
I know,
The
it was a
imagery
brilliant
really,
design
really good.
set for
Yeah.
the story, and there's some really good effects on this.
Yeah.
Especially the ravens are very good.
Yeah.
But I think it might be the best set design of the series.
Maybe.
I
yeah.
did really like the set design in Hellbent with the TARDIS.
Yeah.
We might talk about that
Yeah.
a little bit later on, but no, this was a great set design of Trap Street.
Yeah. I think what was also very, very clear about this particular story is that Clara was getting out of control, wasn't she? She was getting far too. She was beginning to think that she was as invincible as the Doctor.
And there was a bit of news before series 9 came out.
Yeah.
You can probably look through the archive of the podcast, and you'll see that Jenna Coleman said that Clara is starting to think that she is the Doctor.
Mm. And I think
she's the head of the show. I think they intended that to be her characteristic.
I think many viewers would argue that as well.
Yeah.
That Clara was beginning to take over the show, wouldn't they? Whether that's a good or bad thing, different people have different views on it.
Some people really hate Clara, and you'll notice a lot of videos. If you're a common person who looks at loads of good Doctor Who, like different Doctor Who YouTubers.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, best baddie. Let's go through the standard questions.
If she counts, we're going to go with Ashildr, played by Maisie Williams in this one.
So it's the return of Ashildr. We'd seen her earlier on in the series, with starting off with the girl who died, where she was very much a good character. We then saw a return in the following episode, a few centuries later, in The Woman Who Lived, which had moved from the sort of Viking era to the Highwayman sort of era. And in that stage, she'd become quite twisted, really, hadn't she?
Yeah.
Through life. We then see her in this third from the end episode, where she's basically pretty much the governor of the Trap Street.
Yes.
And why would you say that she was a baddie? What would be your reasoning for
Well, it's not necessarily her fault in this one, but what happens to Clara? And I mean, the Doctor does blame her for this, and he gives her a hard time, and he says that at the end of the story.
We better it is a big spoiler. Well, it's not a big spoiler now because it's happened, but
It's happened and everyone probably knows about it.
what happened to Clara?
So, Clara took the mark, the tattoo off Rigsy.
Which was the timer one, wasn't it? It was timing down to his death, wasn't it?
When he had to face the Raven.
Yeah.
So she could only get it off someone if they were the first person, because Clara was the person who takes it off was willing.
Yeah.
So Clara is willing, so it couldn't go away.
Yeah.
So she has to face the Raven, and she has to die, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing about it is that I think all along, because as we said at the beginning of this episode, she's been getting quite cocky, really.
She has.
And I think she always believed that one way or other she was going to get out of this. Either she would get out of it herself, or if she wasn't capable of getting herself out of it, the Doctor would rescue her. And for once, he's not able to rescue her.
No.
But not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
So, if the best baddie was Ashel Deer, what do you think I'm trying to think what the next question is? The best bits.
Well, we've already mentioned what the best bit is, kind of. It's the Clara death sequence.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And
For me.
I think I would agree with you. I think the other sort of side of it as well is the other best bits for me were not actually the episode itself, although it was a really good episode, but it was the whole imagery of the episode, wasn't
It
it?
was great.
These weird two-head things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot their names.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But they were quite cool. So they were quite cool. Why do you think everybody needed to disguise themselves as humans, even though they were in a trap street?
I don't know, because everyone has their mind wiped at the end.
Yeah. There was something that did confuse me about that, actually, which was the whole concept of Cybermen not having any emotions.
Yeah, because the man was scared of dying. But I guess that the man would have had the emotions of a human as well.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I remember thinking at the time, that's a bit odd, but it's probably just because I'm not very clever. So, best supporting cast?
I'd say Maisie Williams, Ashel Deer.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. She was really good, wasn't she, in all the episodes she was in? But I like Maisie.
Was this the best one she was in?
It probably... I personally think... I mean, a lot of people thought her character got better and better as it went on, didn't they? I personally think probably she was at her strongest in The Woman Who Lived, just because it gave her the opportunity to have that great dialogue with Peter Capaldi. But I can see the argument why... I think the Ashel Deer character itself probably got stronger.
Yeah.
And it was at its strongest in this episode.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it for the first one.
Okay. So, on to Heaven Sent then, which... Wasn't that a one-hander?
Yeah, there's a portal over there. I'll just... Wait, no. Actually, it's not a portal, it's...
I'll go and...
It's the You've got a tattoo on your back.
Oh, right.
And the raven's coming to kill you.
Well, I'm going to take a shifty, I think.
Oh, okay. It looks like Decal died. Okay. That's strange. So, Heaven Sent. I better carry on the show on my own. So, trapped in a world unlike any other he has seen, the Doctor faces the greatest challenge of his many lives. One final test, and he must face it alone. Pursued by the fearsome creature known only as the Veil, he must attempt the impossible. If he makes it through, Gallifrey is waiting. So, this episode is the episode following Face the Raven. So, the Doctor has to complete basically a series of challenges. So, this is from Series 9, obviously, because it's the story after Face the Raven, and Face the Raven was also in Series 9. The Doctor was number 12, Peter Capaldi. But there was no proper companion in this one, as it was a one-hander story. This is the first ever one-hander story we've ever had. Not the first episode without a companion, but the first ever episode with only the Doctor in, kind of. I mean, we did have a cameo appearance from Jenna Coleman, and Jamie Coral Reed played the Veil. So they were kind of part of it, but the main character was the Doctor, and he was centred for the whole of the story. And something I find a bit annoying is that the Clara and Amy kind of have been centred very mainly, and every story is centred around her. And even though Clara isn't in this one, it's still centred around her. So, the best baddie in this one is the Veil. It's a very simple design for this one, but it's a very cool design, you know? It's like, it's just so simplistic, but it's so scary. So scary. But there's this episode is a very clever episode, and I think the best bit in this episode is the resolution with all the explaining it, where he has to tell the story and it shows it going over and over again. It does go on for a bit long, and that was one of D. Cool's R.I.P. most famous, most favourite, he does say it went on for a bit too long, but, you know, it did go on a bit too long, but it was clever all the way through, though. But D. Cool, R.I.P.'s favourite moment was, which made him jump, was the door moment when the veil came out of the door. It actually made me quite jump. But watch the episode to see that moment. You might get what it is just after he's dug the grave. The best supportive cast in this one, we can't really say there's a best supportive cast in this one because Peter Capaldi's the only proper person in it. But if I had to, Jenna Coleman, because she was kind of the supportive cast in this one. But not really, not necessarily. But you see, now I don't know what to do. I've got to bring back D. Cool somehow, and I'm on Gallifrey now, and D. Cool, you're not dead.
Don't worry, I'm still alive.
Oh,
Phew.
have a jelly baby.
Phew. Ah, that's good. Don't worry, I'm still alive, everyone. It may be a bit of a letdown because it was obviously a very tense moment when you all thought I had died, but I'm still here. Have no fear. So, what does that bring us on to then next?
Brings us on to the season 9 finale. How about?
Okay, so bit of a synopsis of Hal Bent then, please, sir.
Okay, if you took everything from him, betrayed him, trapped him, and broke both his hearts, how far might the Doctor go? Returning to Gallifrey, the Doctor faces the Time Lords in a struggle that will take him to the end of time itself. But who is the hybrid, and what is the Doctor's confession?
Ooh. Who is the hybrid?
We don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do a bit of a roundup right at the end, won't we, over the 3 stories. And they were very strong, I think. But there was, I don't know, was the whole hybrid thing a bit of a letdown in the end?
It wasn't really solved.
A bit of a red herring? I don't know.
It wasn't necessarily solved, really.
No, I'm not sure it was. Okay, so what we realise is the Doctor, having gone through however many years, hundreds, thousands, millions of years worth of the same thing happening to him, decides he wants to actually bring Clara back to life or prevent her death.
And that's like D. Cool coming back to life.
It was a little bit like that, yeah.
Jelly baby?
Oh, why not? Yeah, I think I'll have one of these. So, hello. Well, it doesn't really work because he's not big enough. Hello. So the Doctor sort of finds himself on Gallifrey, and Gallifrey looked fantastic actually, didn't it?
It did, yeah. One of the other great set designs. One of the great.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a set design. It was just great design. I mean, great.
Yeah. Well, I'll come on. I was going to say something, but I'll come on to that in a minute. When let's just jump straight into the best bits. Well,
what were you going to say though?
Well, it's sort of a best bit.
Okay.
So if I still remember it, I'll bring it up in the best bits section.
So, best baddie in this one. Who do you think it is?
Do you know the odd thing, isn't it, about all of these 3 stories, and probably actually the case with a lot of Moffat's reign actually, is that there isn't necessarily always a really big villain, is there?
No.
A lot of the villain is circumstances, what's going on in the Doctor's head and stuff like that. But I guess the nearest you could probably get would be perhaps Rassilon.
Yeah. We did get cameos from like the Daleks and Cybermen and Weeping Angels.
Yeah, indeed.
And we got the
Which didn't necessarily,
Cloister Wraiths.
the cameos didn't really feel that necessary.
They didn't. No.
No.
They just had to bring in Cybermen somehow, probably.
Yeah. So, what did you? I'm going to say it now anyway. The bit that I was saying was the best bit. I'm going to say it here just because it fits with what we're talking about. Okay. But I really loved that whole spaghetti western type feel that for that opening sequence when he first came out onto Gallifrey.
Yeah, that is.
As a
great.
big lover of that spaghetti western genre, anyway, that was really, really fantastic, wasn't it?
Yes.
What did you make of Rassilon himself?
I mean, it was quite a surprise, really, to see that Donald Sumpter was playing Rassilon.
He wasn't the kindly old man that he was in Game of Thrones, that's for sure.
No, but he played him quite well, I think.
I liked him, yeah.
He was only in it a little bit, really. Would you say he's underused or not?
I think we'll see some more of him at some point, whether.
I don't necessarily think he's underused. I think he's just only in the beginning.
I don't think he was underused, but I think you could argue that Gallifrey was underused.
Yes, you could argue that.
Insofar as it had an important role, but actually once that initial setup had been done, they could have been anywhere really, couldn't they?
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the best bits, really?
The best bits.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe the ending.
Yeah, it was one that people liked or didn't like.
Yeah,
I
it was
think, wasn't it?
what do you call it? What do you call it? Like a toast comparison.
Like Marmite. Yeah.
Yeah.
You either like it or you hate it. I think it is like that. The whole thing of Clara being... effectively what happened with Clara and what the Doctor managed to do is he managed to sort of capture her at a point just before her heart stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah? And therefore she was like one heartbeat away from death, but she was effectively still alive. Because Stephen Moffat never kills anyone.
She was always stuck in that little section.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never kills anyone. It's probably the lowest death count ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just think how different the Peter Davidson he is would have been if he'd have done it. Because we've been watching quite a few of those recently, haven't we, on the randomizer?
Yeah,
and the death count is quite high.
It is very high.
So, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so you have this sort of it turns out in the end there's a bit of dialogue here and there between the Doctor and Astral Deer pops back up again and Clara, and basically the Doctor has his memory wiped, doesn't he?
Yes.
So he's forgotten who Clara is, and Clara and Astral Deer basically disappear off in this TARDIS, which happens to be the sort of a lookalike of the sort of cafe area that we saw back in the Impossible Astronaut, isn't it?
Yeah, it was the same place, I think.
So that somewhere or other there's a big TARDIS that looks like a cafe floating around in space, which is great, and that's why we think it's the best bit, even though a lot of people hate that bit.
Yes.
So that's probably all of the bits, isn't it?
Yeah, that probably is.
Yeah. Did you come up with the best supporting cast for it or not?
Yeah, I did. I said Donald Sumpter is the best supportive cast. He played Rassilon, as we said earlier.
So, rounding it up then, 3 stories.
Yes.
They sort of kind of ish becoming one story. What did you make of this ending to Series 9?
I really liked the ending for the Doctor. I thought it really suited. I thought it was a really good ending.
Yep.
And a really good setup for what's to come.
Yep.
And it's quite simple as well. But with Clara, I think it was a good ending, but I think it weakened Face the Raven.
I'd agree completely, because you had all that shock factor of her dying, and the fact that she wasn't really dead just... I don't know. It just made it seem a little bit artificial, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It made you feel like the Face the Raven episode didn't really matter. It didn't really have to have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, I mean, of the 3, what's your personal favourite?
My personal favourite is it's a bit unlike lots of people's. Most people say it would be Heaven's End. And I would say Hellbent, though, slightly. Just
Okay.
slightly.
Well, perhaps that brings us on to the charts then, shall
What
we?
would you say, by the way?
Mine will be completely revealed by the chart.
Oh, yeah.
So let's bring the chart down now and I'll talk about it as it comes down. As you can see, currently Heaven Sent is my favourite episode since we started the randomiser.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute, there's 3 Series 9 things in my chart.
I know.
That's weird.
Are you a fanboy or something?
Yeah. I think I did really enjoy Season 9. I know, again,
Yes,
it had
I did as well.
It had sort of very mixed views, I think, as a lot of the Moffat years, I think, probably.
Yeah.
But the reason there's so much there, the reason the top 3 are all Series 9 things, is just purely by the fact that, as well, we've watched a whole season at the same point of watching 50 years worth of episodes. So there's, at the moment, the chart is very Season 9 heavy. I think probably as time goes on and we start adding into here some of the other episodes we've watched, like Genesis of the Daleks, Robots of Death, Inferno, those sorts of ones, that it's going to get pushed down the chart a little bit. I think Heaven Sent will be up there or thereabouts.
Genesis will be it, I bet.
Probably.
Definitely.
Yeah, it will, yeah.
Inferno will be it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that it's not going to stay there forever. But as it stands at the moment, there's 3 from Series 9 at the top.
So, Face the Raven is 7th for me, 9th for you.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven Sent is 6th for me, 1st for you. And Hellbent is 4th for me, 5th for you.
So there we have it. So that's probably this week's Behind the Sofa done, isn't it?
It is.
Can you remember what the next episode of Behind the Sofa is going to be?
Next time we're doing Husbands of River Song.
Oh, are we? In that case, I'll add that, and I'll have that as a 4th one in a row in my chart.
And we're also in that episode, we're going to give a full roundup on Series 9, a quick roundup of Series 9, But also, hopefully, we might be able to fit in a Tom Baker figure home.
Ooh.
Hopefully.
Treat.
Or a game show.
Let's see what we do.
Because I've got an idea for a new Tom Baker figure home. Or
Okay.
David Tennant's Terrible Guide to Tennis.
So we shall see.
Or
We'll have
Choose the
something like that.
Consequences. I don't know. Should I advertise some vids?
Yeah, advertising vids.
A
Yep.
few behind the sofa videos to advertise.
Okay.
It's your last chance to watch Doctor Who on English Netflix. So, click here for your our top tips, our top choices for episodes you need to watch before it leaves Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Here you can see our blog talking about Bournemouth Film and Comic Con 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1. And here you can also see a Behind the Sofa April Fool's Day special.
So there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this episode of Behind the Sofa. I hope you enjoy watching them all. And we'll catch you at some point either on this show or on the podcast.
Yeah, and that's every Saturday at 4 p.m.
And that's Doctor Who Time and Space. Thank you very much. I'm Dee Cole.
And I'm Liz Reed.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you for watching Behind the Sofa. Make sure to subscribe for more Doctor Who videos and lots more. We will be back for another video soon. So, keep watching, keep subscribing, and keep loving Who. Goodbye!